Israel, Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 4. Shema Yasharella Ahaya. Allahaya Nawa Ahaya Ahad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our power is one power. Shema Yasharella Ahaya. Allahaya Nawa Ahaya Ahad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our power is one power. Shema Yasharella Ahaya. Allahaya Nawa Ahaya Ahad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our power is one power. We want to welcome everyone back to our Hebrew Israelite language lessons. This is our lesson 17. I am Akawath Melka. I am Akawath Amuna. Tonight we're going to be going over women family members. We have a few announcements before we start. Feast of Purim, February 13th and 14th. We have the Passover, March 13th and 14th. We have the Feast of Unleavened Bread, March 15th through March 21st. And we have the Feast of First Fruits, March 22nd. We have here a list of all our teachings. Of course, our Hebrew language class has started back up, so it's Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Our book report Thursdays at 9 p.m. Our Friday Shabbat lessons at 9 p.m. and our Saturday Shabbat lessons at 1 p.m. and they're all Eastern Standard Time. Now, before we get started with our lesson, we're going to do a recap of what we previously learned during these language lessons. We covered the alphabet, we covered numbers, colors, animals, body parts, and the men half of the family members. So we're going to start off with our alphabet. We learned A, Ba, Ga, Da, Ha, Wa, Za, Ka, Ta, Ya, Ka, La, Ma, Na, Sa, I, Pa, Za, Kwa, Ra, Sha, and Tha. And we did make up a song because we also teach the children this. So for them to learn it, we had to come up with a song for the alphabet so they can grasp it more quickly. So the song is Abagadaha Wazakataya Kalamana Sa'aipa Tazakwa Shata.
All praises. All praises.
So we also covered the numbers and time, which goes together. We learned that 1 is Akkad, 2 is Shanayim, 3 is Shalasha, 4 is Arad Ba'aiha, 5 is Kamasha, 6 is Shasha, 7 is Shaba'aiha, 8 is Sha'awana, 9 is Thasha'aiha, and 10 is Ashar. Going through the colors, we learned, these are some of them we learned. Emerald is Azamar Ragal, white is Laban, green is Yarak, gray is Apawar, red is Adawam, and purple is Sagawa. We went through the animals. Dolphin is Dawa Lapayan, dove is Yawana, fish is dog, goat is, lamb is Kabasha. Now for the body parts, we learned head is Ra'ash, hair is Sha'ar, face is Panya, lip is Shapah, and heart is Lav. Lastly but not least, the men family members. We have great-grandfather, which is Gadal Sabah, grandfather, which is Sabah, father is Abba, son is Ban, and brother is Ak. So that was our recap. Now we're going to get into the lesson. And before we start learning some of the Hebrew words for the women, we're going to talk about 3 of the top Bible mothers.
first one, Hannah. We're going to get 1 Samuel chapter 1. And this is Hannah. And she was the mother of Samuel, the prophet. So we're going to get 1 Samuel chapter 1. We're going to read verses 1 through 6, 8 through 11, and 17 and 18.
First Samuel chapter 1, verse 1. Now there was a certain man of Ramathaim Zophim of Mount Ephraim, and his son name was Elkanah, the son of Jeroham, the son of Elihu, the son of Tohu, the son of Zup, an Ephraite. Verse 2. And he had 2 wives. The name of one was Hannah, and the name of the other was Peninnah. And Peninnah had children, but Hannah had no children. And this man went up out of the city yearly to worship, to sacrifice unto the Lord of hosts in Shiloh. And the 2 sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, the priests of the Lord, were there. And when the time was that Elkanah offered, he gave to Peninnah his wife, and to all her sons and daughters portions. But unto Hannah he gave a worthy portion, for he loved Hannah. But the Lord had shut up her womb, and her adversary also provoked her sore, for to make her fret, because the Lord had shut up her womb.
So Hannah was given a double portion because she had the favor and the love of her husband. But it also says that the Lord had shut up her womb, and we're going to get more on this later. Verse 8 and 9.
Verse 8. Then said Elkanah her husband to her Hannah, Why weepest thou? And why eatest thou not? And why is thy heart grieved? Am not I better to thee than 10 sons? So Hannah rose up after they had eaten in Shiloh, and after they had drunk. Now Eli the priest sat upon a seat by the post of the temple of the Lord. Verse 10. And she was in bitterness of soul, and prayed unto the Lord, and wept sore. And she vowed a vow, and said, O Lord of hosts, if thou wilt indeed look on the affliction of thine handmaid, and remember me, and not forget thine handmaid, but wilt give unto thine handmaid a man child, then I will give him unto the Lord all the days of his life, and there shall no razor come upon his head.
We're going to get verse 17 next. So Hannah, she couldn't get pregnant. Now she prayed to the Most High, and she made a vow that if she was blessed with a man child, that she would give him to the Most High all the days of his life. Verse 17 and 18.
1 Samuel chapter 1, verse 17. Then Eli answered and said, Go in peace, and the Most High of Israel grant thee thy petition, that thou hast asked of him. And she said, Let thine handmaid find grace in thy sight. So the woman went her way and did eat, and her countenance was no more sad.
So as we know, Hannah becomes blessed with Samuel. Hannah was the 4th woman in biblical history to suffer through infertility. Hannah's famous prayer may have prophesied the coming of the Messiah. Another thing, Hannah knew how to respond with grace or not respond at all to the Most High. Eli the priest asked the Most High to bless Hannah with a child more than once. And again, Hannah had 5 more children after Samuel. So what makes her that distinguished mother? She said that she would give the child that she had to the Most High, and that's what she does. She didn't say, I go back on my word, or whatever the case is. She actually gave Samuel to the Most High, and we see with Samuel's story what happens when she does that. The next mother we're going to talk about is Jochebed. And Jochebed is the mother of Moses.
So when you say mother, you say Amah, say it in Hebrew, Amah. The Amah of Moses.
We're going to get Exodus chapter 6. And we're going to read verse 20.
Exodus chapter 6, verse 20. And Abram took him Jochebed, his father's sister, to wife, and she bare him Aaron and Moses. And the years of the life of Abram were 137 years.
Now we're going to skip over to Numbers 26, and we're going to read verse 59. Here, this is just showing how Jochebed was the mother of Aaron and Moses.
Numbers chapter 26, verse 59. And the name of Aram's wife was Jochebed, the daughter of Levi, whom her mother bare to Levi in Egypt. And she bare unto Aram Aaron and Moses, and Miriam their sister.
So the mother of Moses, Miriam and Aaron, she saved Moses' life by floating him down the Nile River, where he was later discovered by the daughter of Pharaoh, who raised him as her own. So what makes Jochebed such a great mother? She had that faith and that courage that the Most High was going to take care of her baby, going down the river. And of course, a lot of us mothers today wouldn't even think twice about doing that. We'd keep our baby to ourselves. Now, with this story, how it came to be is she has so much of faith and trust in the Most High. Now, Miriam, she follows the basket down the river. And when Pharaoh's daughter receives the baby, Miriam suggests that she gets a Hebrew woman to raise the baby and to nurse it. So Miriam goes and gets her mother, and she's still able to be her mom, and she's still able to be part of her son's life and to nurse him.
And got paid.
Yeah, and she got paid to do it.
Yes.
Next, we're going to talk about Miriam, the mother of Yeshaya.
I'm sorry. You teach in Hebrew, you have to use the words with Amah of Yeshua.
So we're going to get Acts chapter 1. We're going to read verses 13 through 14. And when they were come in, they went up into the upper room, where abode both Peter and James and John and Andrew, Philip and Thomas, Bartholomew and Matthew, James the son of Alphaeus, and Simon Zealot, and Judas the brother of James. Then these all continued with one accord in prayer and supplication with the women, and Mary the mother of Yeshua, and with his brethren.
So here in this scripture, we see how Mary was a woman of prayer. As we see in verse 14, it says, and Mary the mother of Yeshua, and they were all on one accord and in prayer. This shows how the women weren't arguing or fussing or saying who should be the lead and all this stuff. They were all together, and they were all able to work together to be in prayer.
And it's also important for women to be on one accord when in prayer too, instead of bickering and fighting.
Because we know when there's a group of people together, whether it's women or not, Yeshua is in the midst when there's 2 or 3. We're going to get John chapter 2, verse 4 through 6.
John chapter 2, verse 4. Yeshua saith unto her, Woman, what have I to do with thee? My hour is not yet come. His mother saith unto the servants, Whatsoever he saith unto you, do it. Verse 6. And there were set there 6 water pots of stone, after the manner of the purifying of the Jews, containing 2 or 3 firstskins apiece.
So here we see how Yeshua's mother had faith in him. So this goes to women in our day and age now, how we have to have faith when there's a bill due and you're looking at all the bills due, and then you look at the money that's coming in and you're saying, okay, how am I going to do this? How am I going to pay this? You have to have faith that it's going to get done and Yeshua is going to take care of you, as Yeshua took care of the situation.
And also with having the faith, we're also reverting back to a mother. So when you have children, you have to feed and clothe, things your children need as well. You have to have faith that the Most High is going to provide.
We're going to get John chapter 19, verse 25 through 27.
John chapter 19, verse 25. Now there stood by the cross of Yeshua his mother, and his mother's sister, Mary the wife of Cleophas, and Mary Magdalene. When Yeshua therefore saw his mother, and the disciple standing by, whom he loved, he saith unto his mother, Woman, behold thy son. Verse 27. Then saith he to the disciple, Behold thy mother. And from that hour that disciple took her unto his own home.
Here we see how Mary was always there for Yeshua through the good times, through the bad, when he was even on the cross. And that's kind of how the Holy Spirit is with us. She's there through the good times and through the bad times.
And by bad time, like when we're saying bad times, it's not like bad that he died. It's just when they're going through tribulation, something rough.
Luke chapter 1, verse 27 through 28.
To a virgin espoused to a man whose name was Joseph, and the house of David, and the virgin's name was Mary. Verse 28. And the angel came in unto her and said, Hail, thou that art highly favored, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women.
So we see here that Mary was favored, and she was favored by the Most High. So this means that she had to be righteous in the eyes of the Most High. And that's what we want. We want, as women, we want to be called favored from the Most High, his own mouth.
Proverbs 31.
Exactly, Proverbs 31. We're going to get Luke chapter 1, verse 31.
Luke chapter 1, verse 31. And behold, thou shalt conceive in thy womb, and bring forth a son, and shalt call his name Yeshua.
So here we see that Mary was given a command on what to do with her firstborn son. Let's see how she took this. In Matthew chapter 1, verse 22 through 23.
Matthew chapter 1, verse 24. Then Joseph, being raised from sleep, did as the angel of the Lord had bidden him, and took unto him his wife. Verse 25. And knew her not till she had brought forth her firstborn son, and he called his name Yeshua.
So here we see that Mary was obedient to what she was given through the Holy Spirit. She was told to name her son Yeshua, and that's exactly what was done in verse 25.
So why is Mary a part of this bunch as top mothers in the Bible? She had a prayer life. She prayed to the Most High. She was obedient. She respected Yeshua as the Messiah and as her son. She showed that care for a child. Now we're going to get into some of the Hebrew names for our women family members. We have great-grandmother. In Hebrew, great-grandmother is pronounced Gadal Sabatha.
Gadal Sabatha.
Yeah, I forgot I was supposed to be saying
Gadal.
Gadal?
Gadal Sabatha.
Gadal.
Yeah, Gadal Sabatha.
Oh, Sabata for sure. They think they're smart.
Our next word, great-granddaughter. In Hebrew, great-granddaughter is pronounced Gadol Nayana.
Gadol Nayana.
Our next word is grandmother, which is just Sabatha.
Sabbath.
Sabbatha.
And of course, we have mother, which is Amma.
Amma.
Now, before we get our next set of Hebrew words for the women, we're going to talk about female visionaries in the Bible, different women who had impacts. The first woman we're going to talk about is Miriam, the sister of Moses. We're going to go to Exodus chapter 15, and we're going to read verse 20.
Exodus chapter 15, verse 20. And Miriam the prophetess, the sister of Aaron, took a timbrel in her hand, and all the women went out after her with timbrels and with dances.
So Miriam, she was the first prophetess and the sister of Moses and Aaron. And we're going to get more about her song and everything later. We're just kind of introducing her. Mm-hmm. The next woman we have is Deborah. We're going to get Judges chapter 4, and we're going to read verses 4 through 5. And we're going to see who Deborah was.
Joshua chapter 4, verse 4. Then Joshua called the 12 men whom he had prepared of the children of Israel.
Judges.
I was in Joshua. All right. Judges chapter 4, verse 4. And Deborah, a prophetess, the wife of Lapidoth, she judged Israel at that time, and she dwelt under the palm tree of Deborah, between Ramah and Bethel, and Mount Ephraim, and the children of Israel came up to her for judgment.
So Deborah, she prophesied the Canaanite defeat by Barak, and Barak was a Hebrew general of the army who, with the help of Deborah, conquered the troops of Sisera, the Canaanite commander. And we also have more on this story later as well. Our next woman is Anna. We see her in Luke chapter 2, verses 36 through 40.
Luke chapter 2, verse 36. And there was one Anna, a prophetess, the daughter of Phanuel, of the tribe of Asher. She was of a great age, and had lived with an husband 70 years from her virginity. And she was a widow of about 84 years, which departed not from the temple, but served the Most High with fastings and prayers night and day. And she, coming in that instant, gave thanks likewise unto the Lord, and spake of him to all them that looked for redemption in Jerusalem. And when they had performed all things according to the law of the Lord, they returned unto Galilee, to their own city Nazareth. And the child grew and waxed strong in spirit, filled with wisdom, and the grace of the Most High was upon him.
So Anna, she was the only prophetess in the New Testament, and she lived to see the infant Yeshua. She was a woman of prayer, and she was dedicated to the Most High. Now, we're going to get our next set of Hebrew words. We have sister. In Hebrew, sister is pronounced aqua.
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 Aqua. Are we not saying that?
Right.
Our next one is daughter. In Hebrew, daughter is pronounced banah.
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 Well, one thing I want to point out, nothing with the Hebrew, but what tribe was she from?
Asher.
Asher, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Don't that tell us something?
What it tells us.
That not all of the 10 tribes were scattered to the so-called
Oh,
Americans.
Yeah.
That there was still some remnant of the other tribes
Yeah.
that were left behind, that went into Africa in 70 AD.
Right.
Our next word is auntie. Or aunt, however you want to say it.
Aunt.
In
Aunt,
Hebrew,
auntie.
auntie is pronounced dawada.
The water. The water. The water.
Dawada.
The water.
Door.
Now we have our next word, niece.
Oh my.
In Hebrew,
What is that?
niece
Oh.
is pronounced akayan ayah.
Akaya.
Ikanyan ayah.
Really got three names.
Mm-hmm.
Right next to each other.
Because ka is CHAA, and then AY becomes its own thing.
Yeah. When you put it all together, it's Akayanaya.
Mm-hmm.
Forget it.
Now we're going to get some important songs of women in the Bible. And we're going to go back and we're going to start off with Hannah. So this is important songs of women in the Bible. We have the Song of Hannah. We're going to go to 1 Samuel. We're going to get chapter 2. And we're going to read verses 1 through 10.
First Samuel, chapter 2, verse 1. And Hannah prayed and said, my heart rejoiceth in the Lord. My horn is exalted in the Lord. My mouth is enlarged over mine enemies, because I rejoice in thy salvation. There is none holy as the Lord, for there is none beside thee, neither is there any rock like our power.
Hold there. So here, Hannah, she's giving thanks to the Most High. And she's saying, there is none like Most High. There is none like our power. She rejoices in his salvation. We're going to get verses 3 and 4.
Verse 3. Talk no more so exceedingly proud. Let not arrogancy come out of your mouth. For the Lord is a power of knowledge, and by him actions are weighed. The bows of the mighty men are broken, and they that stumble are girded with strength. Verse 5. They that were full have hired out themselves for bread, and they that were hungry ceased, so that the burden hath borne 7. The burden hath borne 7, and she that hath many children is waxed feeble. The Lord killeth and maketh alive. He bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up. The Lord maketh poor and maketh rich, and bringeth low and lifteth up. He raised up the poor out of the dust, and lifteth up the beggar from the dunghill, to set them among princes, and to make them inherit the throne of glory. For the pillars of the earth are the Lord's, and he hath set the world upon them.
So just here we see how mighty the Most High is. And we can even relate this back to Hannah's situation with being barren and with Samuel. The Lord maketh poor and maketh rich. He bringeth low and lifteth up. We can see how she was low in spirits. Now she has her son Samuel, she has been lifted up. So we can also relate that to her story. Verse 9 and 10.
1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 9. He will keep the feet of his saints, and the wicked shall be silent in darkness. For by strength shall no man prevail. The adversaries of the Lord shall be broken into pieces. Out of heaven shall he thunder upon them. The Lord shall judge the ends of the earth, and he shall give strength unto his kings, and exalt the horn of his anointed.
So here, this is like she's reciting her dedication of Samuel to the Most High. She's also expressing gratitude and thankfulness to the Most High for her blessing that comes from the Most High, her son Samuel, who she prayed for. The next woman we're going to talk about is the Song of Deborah. We're going to go to Judges chapter 5. And we're going to read verses 1 through 31, and we're going to break this down as to what Deborah is saying here.
Judges chapter 5, verse 1. Then sang Deborah and Barak, the son of Abinoam, on that day, saying, Praise ye the Lord for the avenging of Israel, when the people willingly offered themselves.
Okay. So here, we can kind of start off seeing that there's sort of like a theme going with this song that she's singing. It speaks of joy and blessing and the willingness of being a vessel for the Most High. As the verse 2 says, people willingly offered themselves. Keep going.
Verse 3. Hear, O ye kings, give ear, O ye princes. I, even I, will sing unto the Lord. I will sing praise unto the Lord, power of Israel. Lord, when thou wentest out of Seir, when thou marchest out of the field of Edom, the earth trembled, and the heavens dropped, and the clouds also dropped water. The mountains melted from before the Lord, even that Sinai, from before the Lord power of Israel.
Okay. So here, she's remembering the Most High's preservation of Israel in the past. Continue.
Verse 6. In the days of Shamgar, the son of Anath, in the days of Jael, the highways were unoccupied, and the travelers walked through byways. The inhabitants of the villages ceased. They ceased in Israel, until that Deborah arose, a mother in Israel. They choose new gods. Then was war in the gates. Was there a shield or spear seen among 40,000 in Israel?
Okay. So now she's talking about the oppression under the Canaanites, how people, they chose new gods. There was war within the city. Verse 9.
Verse 9. My heart is toward the governors of Israel, that offered themselves willingly among the people. Bless ye the Lord.
So there. She's blessing the Most High for leaders who actually led and followers who willingly follow these leaders. Keep going.
Verse 10. Speak ye that ride on white asses, ye that sit in judgment, and walk by the way. They that are delivered from the noise of archers in the places of drawing water. There shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord, even the righteous acts toward the inhabitants of his villages in Israel. Then shall the people of the Lord go down to the gates. Awake, awake, Deborah, awake, awake. Utter a song. Arise, Barak, and lead thy captivity. Captive, thou son of Abinoam.
So hold there. Now here, verses 10 through 12 is just explaining, or it's a recount of the victory that they have just went through. Verses 13.
Verse 13. Then he made him that remaineth have dominion over the nobles among the people. The Lord made me have dominion over the mighty. Out of Ephraim was there a root of them against Amalek. After thee, Benjamin, among thy people out of Machar, came down governors, and out of Zebulun, they that handled the pen of the writer. Verse 15. And the princes of Issachar were with Deborah, even Issachar, and also Barak. He was sent on foot into the valley, for the divisions of Reuben were great thoughts of heart. Verse 16. Why abodest thou among the sheepfolds, to hear the bleating of the flocks? For the divisions of Reuben there were great searchings of heart. Gilead abode beyond Jordan, and why did Dan remain in ships? Asher continued on the seashore and abode in his breaches. Zebulun and Naphtali were a people that jeoparded their lives unto the death in the high places of the field.
So these verses are explaining the tribes that helped and the tribes that didn't help. We're going to get verse 19.
Verse 19. The kings came and fought. Then fought the king of Canaan and Tanakh by the waters of Megiddo. Then took no gain of money. They took no gain of money. They fought from heaven. The stars in their courses fought against Sisera. The river of Kishon swept them away, that ancient river, the river Kishon. O my soul, thou hast trodden down strength. Then were the horse hooves broken by the means of the prancings of their mighty ones. Curse ye Meroz, said the angel of the Lord. Curse ye bitterly the inhabitants thereof, because they came not to the help of the Lord, to the help of the Lord against the mighty.
Okay. So here, Meroz becomes cursed because of, like the scripture says, they didn't come to help the Lord. So an angel of the Lord sends a curse on that city. We're going to get verses 24 and 25.
Verse 24. Blessed above women shall Jael, the wife of Heber, the Kenite, be. Blessed shall she be above women in the tent. He asked water, and she gave him milk. She brought forth butter in the lordly dish.
Is that the same Jael as in the Apocrypha?
The tent peg? Yeah.
Verse 26. She put her hand to the nail, and her right hand to the workman's hammer. And with the hammer she smote Sisera. She smote off his head, when she had pierced and stricken through his temples. At her feet he bowed. He fell, he lay down. At her feet he bowed. He fell. Where he bowed there, he fell down dead. The mother of Sisera looked out at a window and cried through the lattice. Why is his chariot so long in coming? Why tarry the wheels of his chariots? Her wise ladies answered her, yea, she returned answer to herself.
Out there. So here, verses 28 through 30. Well, we're going to get what 30 is, because 30 is a bigger verse, and we have to break that down. So this is just a reflection on the disappointment of the Sisera survivors. Now we have verse 30.
Verse 30. Have they not sped? Have they not divided the prey? To every man a damsel or two. To Sisera, a prey of diverse colors, a prey of diverse colors, of needlework, of diverse colors of needlework on both sides. Meat for the necks of them that take the spoil.
Out there. So we're going to break down this verse. The first part says, have they not sped? So what they're saying is, like, have they not found the enemy Barak and his army, or the spoil of them? The second part says, have they not divided the prey? So what they're saying is, have they not taken them, captives, as many as they could? Have they not taken much time, to look over and to make equal the proper division? So maybe that's the cause of delay, that they're trying to divide who gets what. Now it says, to every man a damsel or two. When heathen nations would take over or try and take over other nations or Israelites, of course, the first thing they're going to do is rape the women. So I say maybe they're taking their time, they're, having intercourse with the women. That's what it means by a damsel or two. Now we have to Sisera a prey of diverse colors, a prey of diverse colors of needlework, of diverse colors of needlework on both sides. Now, the women of Israel were known for their needlework, the different colors and patterns that we use. So here this is saying now, is Sisera going to bring them, presents? Maybe that's why, that's what's taking them so long to get back. They didn't know at this point he was dead. But they're saying maybe, he's going to bring it for his mother to wear, some of his ladies, or maybe even for us to wear some of it. And the last part, meat for the necks to them that take the spoil. The general of the army and the chief men to whom the spoil was brought to and then divided, unto it was divided by the rank or quality for every soldier. So there's, the women or the people that was waiting for them to come back, thought all this was going on. Maybe they were just, having the women, or they were trying to divide, since Israel's so big, they're going to divide who gets what. And that wasn't the case at all. We're going to get verse 31.
Judges chapter 5 verse 31. So let all thine enemies perish, O Lord, but let them that love him be as the sun when he goeth forth in his might. And the land had rest 40 years.
So here, this is just a final praise to the Most High, and it's like we see here the long-term effect of the victory. The land rested for 40 years. The next song we're going to get is the Song of Miriam. And this is Miriam, the mother of Yeshua. We're going to go to Luke chapter 1, and we're going to read verses 46 through 55.
Luke chapter 1 verse 46. And Mary said, my soul doth magnify the Lord, and my spirit hath rejoiced in Ahiah my Savior. my Savior. For he hath regarded the low estate of his handmaid. For behold, from henceforth all generations shall call me blessed. For he that is mighty hath done to me great things, and holy is his name. And his mercy is on them that fear him, from generation to generation. He hath showed strength with his arm. He hath scattered the proud in the imagination of their hearts. He hath put down the mighty from their seats, and exalted them of low degree. He hath filled the hungry with good things, and the rich he hath sent empty away. He hath holpen his servant Israel in remembrance of his mercy. And he spake to our fathers, to Abraham, and to his seed forever.
So here, this is Miriam's, the mother of Yeshua, song to the Most High. What's going on here is that she gets word of how, and you have to read further up in the chapter, that Elizabeth is pregnant with John the Baptist, and we know the account of how John the Baptist is going to prepare a way for the Messiah and everything like that. So she's just praising the Most High for this. We're going to get our next word in Hebrew, which is woman. In Hebrew, woman is pronounced Ayasha.
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 Ayasha. Ayasha. Ayasha.
Our next word is girl. In Hebrew, girl is pronounced Yalada.
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 Our next word is female. Female is pronounced Nagaba.
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 She, in Hebrew, Haya'a.
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 We have hers, which is ha.
Ha.
Ha. And our last woman word for tonight is queen, which is Malaka.
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 So now we're going, if anybody knows me, you guys know that I love facts. So we got some facts about women that I thought were interesting, and maybe they can help you or women on live stream. Our first one is be careful what you say. So our first fact is women speak about 2,000 words a day. So that's 13,000 more than the average man.
Oh, wow. 13,000.
We speak 20,000 words a day, which is 13,000 more than the average man.
Wow.
So it's important that us women be careful what we say and make sure that we are operating in the spirit of a Proverbs 31 woman, because the Bible does say that a woman can tear down her husband's house with her words. Our next one is decisions. Now this one I thought was extremely interesting because this is something that I do all the time. It says women spend nearly 1 year of their lives deciding what to wear. So if you combine every day, those couple minutes or maybe an hour that you spend deciding on what to wear, and you add that all up, it'll all equal up to a year. Now, medically, instead of chest pains and heart attacks, women have or they experience more nausea, indigestion, and shoulder pain. And this is due to this is due to fear, nervousness, and stress. Especially with the shoulders, that's where stress likes to sit. Now with the eyes, some women can have a genetic mutation which causes them to see millions of more colors. So that's why if like we see in the movies where the girl is telling her husband, do you think this eyeshadow or this eyeshadow? And the man is like, that's the same. But us women watching the movie, we can tell that those are two different colors. That's like if someone says this tablecloth is red, but or someone says the tablecloth is pink, but it's really red. That's why, because we can see the difference in similar colors. Birth. Now, this one I thought was extremely interesting because it says the most children born to one woman in a lifetime is 69. So in our whole entire lifetime, we can have up to 69 babies.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Yes. Anger. Heart disease is the #1 killer of women in the world. And this heart disease has to do with the spirit of anger. Beautiful. So only 2% of women describe themselves as beautiful. I saw this statistic online and I was like, there's no way. So I have to bring this out because I want to let our sisters know that we're all beautiful, no matter your shape, size, or color, especially us women of Jacob.
So next week, or in the upcoming weeks, we're going to be talking about food, fruits, drinks, vegetables, nuts, around the house items, and gardening.
Gardening.
So, so do we have any questions here or on the chat?
Rice. No, there's no questions on the chat.
Okay.
So we're going to end with Psalms chapter 18, and we're going to do verse 1 through 3.
Psalms 18, 1 through 3.
Mm-hmm. Are we all there?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I will love thee, O Lord, with my strength. The Lord is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer, my power, my strength, in whom I will trust, my buckler and the horn of my salvation, and my high tower. I will call upon the Lord, who is worthy to be praised. So shall I be saved from my enemies. We want to thank you all for joining us. This was our Hebrew language lesson. So if you have found this teaching educational and you have liked it, please like, share, and subscribe. Also hit the bell notification so you can get notified when we go live. Kwam Yashrala.
Okay. She done threw up all over the